3, 2, hello! Just when I'm about to start, little pumpkin comes in to say hello. Hi guys, I'm coming at you today on the podcast and on YouTube because I've just been really reflecting over the past week, particularly since the Blogosphere Awards, on why I started the podcast and how far it's come in the short time it's been here on the internet. And I wanted to share some of the reasons and the thought process behind why I started the podcast and how I actually go about, choosing the women who I bring on to interview and reaching out to them, and just give you a bit of behind the scenes insight and chat about the things that happen that go into making the podcast that you might not necessarily hear about. Of course, as you'll know if you have listened to Put Yourself First, the whole ethos behind it is empowering women to put themselves first and make time for their personal goals. And I feel like I chose that because not only does it reflect across all of my content anyway, and the reason behind why I do everything that I do on the internet with my clients, life in general, it's just a real passion of mine to help women feel good and support them and be that positive energy in their lives. I also really wanted the message to span across a lifestyle, so I like to talk about different areas of my life and how they're, interwoven. And when I go to the gym and I look after my health and I eat well, that makes me more productive and more energetic during my work day, which makes me more, focused on my clients, which inevitably makes me more successful. And doing something that I love and doing well in it, affects my mental health, and all these things affect my relationships. So I really wanted to keep the topics open and discuss everything, and I hope that comes across. I definitely want to discuss taboo subjects, so I've had someone on to talk about period poverty. I've had someone on, the amazing Dr. Anita, to talk about periods and sex and contraception and STDs and real issues that affect women. In the future, I'm also focused on bringing awareness to deeper issues, as in, we had Christina on from The Monthly Gift to talk about period poverty. I'd also love to bring light and bring awareness to issues like that are really, really serious, and as a privileged woman I don't have to deal with, but there are still women dealing with it, and I want the podcast to be a real positive space in that way as well. So not only is the podcast giving you fitness tips, business inspiration, period advice, like sexual health advice from a professional, not only is it helping your life, I hope in the future and as the podcast grows, as the audience grows, it can continue to raise awareness of really important issues that unfortunately affect many women around the world. So that's a bit about why I started the podcast and where I hope it goes and grows. In terms of actually picking guests, I just want to say I've been so blessed so far, because I made a dream guest list at the start of this year, and I remember saying to myself, if I can get at least 5, maybe 6 people on this list on the podcast, that would make my year, and that would make the podcast something that I could be truly proud of and excited about. And I'm already, adding to that list. I've already ticked off the majority of the guests on that list, and that just blows me away. I've been really shocked, like pleasantly shocked and pleasantly surprised at the amount of people who are willing to give me their time and give me an hour of their busy day out of their busy work schedule to sit down and be so honest and open and vulnerable with me, to share their story, to share their tips, to share their advice, to help and support the women in my community. I just think that it's just been such a blessing, and to me it really has reinforced why I follow these women and why I respect them so much. They were under no obligation to talk to me. They could easily have looked at the podcast and thought, this is only a few months old, this isn't going to be worth my time, I'm not going to get as much reach from this. But no, that's not what they cared about. The 99% of my guests have said, oh my god, yes, that message is amazing, I love what you're doing, keep doing what you're doing, you know, a great thing. So that is just makes my heart really happy, and I truly thank every single woman who's been on the podcast so far, because it definitely would not be what it is without my amazing guests. It seems like you guys love the interviews. I think moving forward, the interviews are definitely going to be a focus. The podcast currently is Monday and Friday is this short chat just from me. And I think some weeks that works and some weeks that is needed if I want to update you guys like I am today. But some weeks, I think it might work if I have a second interview, for example, or just some other format that switches it up. So a lot of you guys said yes to that, like you'd love more interviews, you'd love a bit of a switch up every, you know, not just the same format every week. So that's really reassuring. Just bear with me to see what happens with that, because there's going to be twice the amount of work involved if I'm getting 2 guests on every week, and it won't be suitable every week. The one thing I will say, and this is a real behind the scenes look at how much work goes into this, these women are busy and they have lots of amazing work to do, so they have a strict schedule and I have to honour their schedule and work around them and be flexible to when they're free, and that isn't always on my time frame. So it's very difficult in some cases to map out the podcast for the month. I found recording them quite far in advance helps. So what I'm going to try and do is really plan for the next few months and try and bring some extra guests on Fridays for you guys. Another thing I was toying with is bringing another person into the Friday episodes and making them a super casual chat with just me and a friend, and it be more of a conversation between me and a friend on a certain topic. Maybe we could answer a question or address something that we know women in the community are struggling with, or generally women tend to struggle with, and address our experience, our tips, our advice. And that'd be a fun dynamic for me to be able to chat to a close friend who I know I don't have to have like a really super structured interview with. Not that this interviews are structured anyway, but you know, when you're talking to someone who's like a major girl boss and she's got a book coming out, or you've followed her for years and you massively respect her, like there is an element of fangirling, I guess. I can't put it any other way. There is an element of being like, oh my god, this person is amazing and I need to make this the best interview ever. Whereas if I was just sat with a friend, we would just be having, you know, a cup of tea, maybe a glass of fizz, whatever, depending on the time of day, and just chatting. So I could have like a co-host on Friday episodes and have that person feature for the whole month, or I could interchange them. Really just let me know what you think. I always appreciate your feedback. I know you're probably getting bored of me asking for your feedback, but I've just been thinking a lot over the past month about where I want the podcast to go, and more importantly, how can I make the podcast even more valuable, even more of a fun, positive, enjoyable resource for you to listen to. Thank you so much to everyone who's reached out so far to let me know who they want to hear from, who they want me to interview, what topics they want me to cover. But yeah, again, this is just an ongoing process of figuring this all out, so bear with me, but I would love you to reach out. You can email me, contact@horrocks.com, or you can DM me on Instagram, Facebook, wherever you want to reach out to me, I'll be there. And thank you so much to everyone so far who has subscribed to the podcast, listened to whether it's just one episode or all of the episodes. Your time and support is just so appreciated. Thanks so much for listening, and I will catch you on tomorrow's podcast interview with another guest. I'll see you then. Bye.